Okay, so I've been thinking about this for a while, and this morning I was talking with the guy and mentioned the British Defense Minister resigned because, among other things, he's alleged to have 15 years ago put his hand on the knee of a journalist. And this guy says to me, did you get the feeling that this whole sexual harassment thing has gotten out of control? And since he asked, I said to him that I think that it seems out of proportion because the proportions are so much larger than most guys are comfortable envisioning. It seems outsized because it's a big problem. And guy went on to tell me a story about how he was working for a place once upon a time, and this girl, stranger, comes up to him, and they're both looking at a billboard together, and he noticed she had really long, pretty blonde hair. And so he says to her, he tells me, he says to her, "Hey, you've got really pretty hair." And guy could not understand why she was upset about that and why he got wrote up when she complained. And I told him, well, give it the prison test, okay? Your average white male in America has a certain degree of privilege, okay? Doesn't mean that you haven't worked hard to be where you are. Doesn't mean you've done anything wrong necessarily. It just means there are certain hurdles you don't automatically have to jump. Well, prison is one of those situations where your average white male may feel disempowered and not in control of things, and can be a useful metaphor for trying to flip the script on some of these power paradigms. So I put forward to this guy, I said, I want you to imagine it's your first day in prison, okay? And you're hanging out in the prison yard. A guy comes up to you and says, you know what? I just want to say you got really pretty hair. I said, now how complimented do you feel? And he goes, well, that's totally different. He said, I'm not attracted to men. I said, well, maybe she's not either. Does it matter if she does? Does it matter if she doesn't? Either way, she wasn't comfortable with what she said. And ultimately, that's what's important. She wasn't comfortable with what she said. Now, jeez, that's loud. So, similarly, you know, the guy just could not get it through his head why that would be a problem. He's like, well, it doesn't apply because she can leave at any time. You can't leave in prison. I'm like, well, you could walk away. And he goes, well, she could walk away at any time. And I'm like, furthermore, if she has to walk away, then how, obviously she's not comfortable, you know. Similarly, he says, well, that situation doesn't apply because there were a lot of people around. Like, well, there are a lot of people around in the prison yard, you know, but you don't feel comfortable with that. And so getting back to the original point about the defense minister, the British defense minister, you know, putting your hand on someone's knee 15 years ago, objectively, if you're a space alien, seems like a bizarre reason to for a highly skilled person like the Minister of Defense to resign from his post. But when you put it into context, you know, and it sucks that we have to put it in context, because, you know, women's is people too. This should just automatically click, but it doesn't for all people. So I put this guy, you know, I want you to imagine with this defense minister, what if this had been another guy, you know, the journalist, and I don't know the circumstances of when, why, or how he put his hand on this woman's knee, but whereas he's viewing this as a change of culture thing, and he said, well, you know, the culture is different than it was 15 years ago. Things that were acceptable then aren't acceptable now. Well, no, the paradigm really hasn't changed. It's the way people are aware of it has changed, because if this had been a guy and a male journalist and he had, you know, cupped his groin or, you know, cupped his ass with his hand or something, under what circumstance would that have been acceptable? I mean, touching someone's knee is an intimate gesture. It's very rarely done very casually, you know. And if you had flipped the script and made it a dude, touching the knee would have seemed weird. Wouldn't have seemed appropriate at all. And the fact that it ever seemed appropriate for this guy to reach out and touch someone's knee says an awful lot right there in and of itself. I think while I'm on a ramble, another big problem we've got is that we teach guys, when we teach them anything, that no means no, and only no means no. But we very rarely teach them, if ever, that only enthusiastic yes means yes. We teach guys that you are supposed to woo and pursue and win over. And if they don't say no, that's in essence saying maybe. Convince me. And there's a lot of social pressure for guys at that point to win her over, you know? Go stand out in her yard with a boombox and make a big romantic gesture. Win her over. Woo her and pursue her. At the same time, though, while we're telling guys no means no, if we're telling them anything, we are training girls that you don't say no about anything, ever. You never say no about anything. You know, if someone asks, hey, are you going to eat the rest of, you know, your bag of chips? You're not supposed to say, yeah, no, you can't have it, no. You're supposed to politely demur, or you know, find a way to put them down easy. And so, yeah, people, we're simultaneously telling guys only no means no, while teaching girls never say no. How is that not a total setup for failure? I mean, you want to talk about rape culture. You know, rape culture doesn't mean necessarily that we're training guys to be rapists. But if you're stacking the deck against men and women, so that the guys can't hear, will only accept a strong no, and may not respect it, while simultaneously teaching girls that it's unacceptable to say no, you're setting people up for a fall. You're setting society up for a fall. We're failing our young men, we're failing our young women. We gotta do better.